What is up, everybody? How is everybody doing? I'm doing quite good. Hopefully you guys are too. Welcome back to another video. For today's video, we're going to be looking at the 3 spookiest stories that I have came across. If you guys are excited, make sure to leave a like, as I really do appreciate it. And without further ado, let's get into today's video. I smelled death in my basement. So this was about a year or two ago. My friend stayed over at my house. This is a different house that I lived in. I moved twice after the house that we are talking about. My friend and I always loved to tell creepy stories and were super intrigued with paranormal activity. As being someone who knows a thing or two about paranormal activity and hearing many stories, I somehow kind of doubted the witching hour, which is weird because most of the creepy stuff I experienced have happened between 2:50 a.m. to early 4 a.m. My friend and I decided to stay up late, maybe about 4 a.m, to try and catch some spooky stuff going on. Well, this night, we did. We stayed in my basement that was fully finished. It wasn't some creaky old cellar or anything. It was a fully fledged basement. We had all of the lights out and just turned on our flashlights on our phone and watched YouTube. We got bored and decided to have our flashlights on and walk around my basement to see if anything is going on. We did hear occasional noises, but they sounded like scratching and walking, so I don't think we thought anything. Until we realized it was 3 in the morning, and everyone in the house was asleep, except for me and my friend. We walked by the storage unit in my basement, opened the door, and it smelled rotten as anything. It was like walking by a dead corpse. We had both smelled a dead corpse before. We had both smelled like dead animals and stuff. Not on purpose, but just like driving by and walking by outside and it being on the ground. So we quickly closed the door and we heard like muffled banging and stuff, which was very creepy. When we opened the door, it turned to faint scratches and then stopped. We both at each other, horrified. Realizing it was 3 a.m, we bolted upstairs like something was on our tail. From that day on, I have completely believed in the witching hour. A little update to this story. The next day, we had my parents check and see if anything was dead in there, and they didn't see or smell anything. The old lady with the shotgun. So I was in the 7th grade on winter break. I lived in a town called Dayton, Texas, which was a small country town. And I lived on the outskirts of the town itself, so I was in the fucking sticks. There was this dirt road that was behind my house that led to some dude's ranch, but before the entrance of his ranch was a creepy blue house in the woods. For the longest time I thought no one lived there, till one day I was hunting rabbits in the wood along the dirt road, and I could hear someone shouting from that direction of the old blue house. I hid behind some bushes, and I saw this old lady in front of her house screaming Bible verses to the sky. I hurried the fuck up and got out of there. And a few days later, I'm walking to my friend's house, which I got across my neighbor's land to get to. He didn't mind because somehow him and my granddad were related. I was eating pizza on the way there and decided to give the dog he had tied up in the back a piece. I was there for a while petting the dog because I felt bad for him being tied up with nothing to play with or do all day. But then all of a sudden I hear a gunshot. That was close, about less than a football field away. I looked around and I saw this old lady load another one in her shotgun and aim it at my face. I froze and she fired. I saw the rounds hit the ground about 15 feet in front of me, and I took off running. I could have been a track star, how fast I was going. When I was running, I can hear her say, "You better run, you thief," and fire off another 2 rounds. So I get to my friend's place, banging on the doors, in tears. When he opened, I told him what happened. We waited for his mom and dad to get back from grocery shopping to tell them what happened. When they did, and we told them, they didn't believe me, nor did my parents when I told them. So I said fuck it, I'm never walking through there again. A month later, I was in my backyard on a shitty trampoline, and I noticed in the tree line that the crazy old bitch was watching me. When she realized I was looking at her, she walked back into the forest towards her house. I decided not to tell my parents because they didn't believe me when I said that the bitch tried to kill me. Now that it's been 10 years, I finally brought it up to my parents again, and they told me nobody has lived in that home for the past 50 years. And the old lady that passed away in the home was the one I was seeing. The phone call. I live in Romania, in an urban city. The trend of calling the number 666 was going on, so I decided it would be interesting to see what happens. I was in school that day when I decided to call the number. Nothing happened like usual. Decided to call again, but nothing happened. I called it like 5 times, but still, nothing happened. So I gave up, knowing that nothing would actually happen and continue my class. So I finished all the classes and leave the school to go home. Nothing happened until I reached my street. I live right in front of a forest, on a street of like 4 minutes to walk, our house being the last one on the road. When I entered my street, I started to feel my phone vibrating in my bag. So I opened the bag knowing it was my mother, who I usually call when I leave the school. But this time, I just completely forgot. When I looked at the phone, I was shocked. The caller was 666, the number I just dialed 5 times a couple of hours ago. An incorrect number. I panicked and immediately hang up and run towards my house. Being scared, I didn't tell anyone since today. It's been 5.5 years, and it still creeps me out what happened. What would have happened if I would have answered? Nobody knows. Alrighty everybody, that's gonna end it off for today's video. I just want to say thank you all so much for the support recently. Now I just want to say this was not the video I originally planned on uploading. There is something going wrong right now with my editor, and it's corrupting all of my videos, and I'm able to edit this one. I've been able to get to like the last 8 minutes or so it seems to be working. But I just want to say, guys, thank you so much for coming and checking out these videos, and thank you so much for the support. You guys are the absolute best. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, make sure to hit the like button. Love you guys, and I'll see you all tomorrow with a brand new video.